Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have not been as consistent as I promised I'd be, and funny enough, today I am speaking all about how I became an influencer, how I got on YouTube. When I first started my YouTube channel just under a year ago, my first ever video is called Who the Hell is KGMTL, which is me, and I kind of explained how I got to get onto YouTube and just a little bit about who I am. Since then, since I started my YouTube, it's been about a year, but since I began doing this influencer social media thing, it's been about 14 months. So it's been just over a year, and I thought it would be the perfect time to film a video all about sort of how I got here, what it's like, how I've monetized myself and been able to sort of work with companies, and just how it's all worked for me, and then a little bit also about my opinion on social media right now, on influencer marketing, and also just in general what's going on with social media and influencers, because it's this whole new world, it's a whole new business, and I feel like everyone wants to do it, or everyone's trying to do it. I figured that I would give you a little bit of insight on how I started, my tips and tricks, and what I really think about influencers and social media right now. So just to begin, let me just tell a little bit about my story. My story goes as follows. I've always been someone who has worked. I, from the age of 14, was working in my mother's store. I then had what did I do? I was working in my mom's store. Then from there, I got a job with Hugo Boss. I was running their downtown location here in Montreal. I would go to Germany and Dubai, and go to Toronto all the time and Dubai. I was all over the place. I did that for about 5 years. Then my sister started a legging company called Love You Always Leggings. Unfortunately, I wish we still had it now, but we don't. I ran that company. I did everything for that company for, again, about another, I would say, 5 years, until it just wasn't working. And maybe one day we will reintroduce them, because they were so amazing. And then from there, we were deciding, are we going to continue with Love You Always with the legging company? Are we not sure. So I started doing a consignment business. I know a lot of people who buy a lot of things. So I figured, you know what? I'm really good with computers. I'm really good with eBay and stuff like that. I'm going to take people's stuff and I'm going to sell it for them. So let's say you had a Yves Saint Laurent bag from a few seasons ago or from years ago that you no longer wanted. I would take pictures of it, I would list it on eBay, and then when it sold, I would take a commission and you would get your money. So it was an excellent business because I had no overhead after being in the fashion industry, after having my own line. You know, it's a lot of money, a lot of overhead. So I was always like, I don't want to go into businesses anymore that I have to put so much money up front because it takes so long to see it back. And so yeah, so I did this consignment business and I was doing it. And to be honest, I wasn't really passionate about it, but it did make me money. And it was a great way for me to uphold my sort of standard of living. For as long as bloggers have been a thing, as long as people have had blogs, I have always been told that I need a blog. Reason being is that I have always loved beauty products. I have lost a lot of weight. If you guys have watched my weight loss video, you know, I've always just been that person that people will come to kind of as a concierge. So whether it be, oh, I need a gift for my girlfriend, I need a gift for my boyfriend, what's a really good like moisturizer, what do I use on my body? Like everyone would always come to me for advice on all kinds of things. Like so much so that I would go to, let's say, like a spin class or to the gym, and I would be like stuck in the locker room for like 30 minutes after, and they'd be like, where'd you get your leggings? Where do you do this? How do I do that? Like a lot of questions and a lot of interest on what I'm doing, where I'm getting it done, where I buy my stuff, things like that. And to be honest, and to this day, it doesn't really affect me. I'm not someone where I'm like, oh my God, everyone cares about what I'm wearing or anything like that. It just sort of was something where I loved giving the advice. A lot of people I know, and a lot of people in general, are very weird about sharing their secrets. I don't understand it. I remember when I started doing Instagram and showing my skincare routines and stuff, people would be like, you're so crazy that you give out all your secrets. And I was like, who cares? Like, so what? So the next person's gonna have glowier skin than me? Like, good, I don't care. It's something that I actually am the kind of person that loves to share tips and tricks, loves to share the things that work for me. I get very excited by products, I get very excited by things, and I have a background in selling. So, to like make a long story short of how this all started, it was something that I guess people always thought I should do. I was always kind of like, why the hell would anyone want to listen to me or read what I have to say? It's kind of like, it's a very awkward thing. To be honest, I'm a very down-to-earth person, and it's really awkward to assume that random people would want your advice or your tips or even care about what you're doing or what you want to share. So I never really did it. And I guess now that I do it, I think I should have started a lot earlier, but it was just something I guess I just thought, I don't know, why would anyone want to listen to me? So in the period where I was doing my consignment business and my Love You Always, my legging company closing down, I had met Chris. We ended up getting engaged, we got married. I really thought that we would get married and just like, bam, have a baby in the community that I grew up in. That's pretty much what everyone does. So that's what I thought we were gonna do, but that's not what happened. We got married and everything was wonderful, but you know, for those of you who are watching that are married or have been in long relationships or move in with someone or whatever it is, kind of like reality hits. So we met, we were like in honeymoon phase for a year. Then we got engaged, we were in like wedding planning honeymoon phase for a year. Then we got married and we were still in the honeymoon phase, but shit got real in the sense of, you know, we were sharing finances now. We were like one, as much as we do want to have children and things of that nature. He was starting a new business, which is now Black Suede Studio, which is an awesome shoe company. If you guys have never checked it out, check it out here. The website is here. So he was really, really busy. Not that he was home, but he was traveling a lot. He was in China. He was all over the place. I started to feel that my condo was really small. I was used to living in alone. I was like, I need to get out of here. It's too small. At the same time, a lot of my friends around me were having kids. I started to see the toll it was taking on the relationship, and I kind of decided to say, like, let's pump the brakes on this kid thing right now. Let Chris focus on his business, do the traveling he needs to do. Let me find a house or a bigger space for us to live in, because this is like, I'm gonna kill him, okay? Too small. And I was kind of left there, you know, with this consignment business, but didn't really take up that much of my time, and there was no passion there. So I was starting to feel really mad at myself. I was always like, you know, I gave up the Love You Always business, always assuming that I was gonna get married and have kids right away and then do a business sort of once I had kids. And then all of a sudden that wasn't happening. So I was like, not happy. Like, I really felt that I would like pick fights with Chris. I just wasn't happy. I feel like I have so much to offer and I wasn't offering anything. Around this time that this was all happening, and I talked about this in my first video ever on YouTube, Who the Hell is KGMTL? I saw someone who I consider to be a mentor. It's not someone, you know, mentors can come in all different shapes and forms. Some mentors for people are people who you sit down with every month or every week or every few months, or you have sort of a schedule where you kind of check in and they give you their advice and whatever. For me, my mentor is a woman named Debbie. She knows who she is. I don't know if she'll watch this, but she's extremely, extremely successful. Her energy just resembles mine. We're very, very kindred spirits, I guess you could say. She's so inspirational. She is a woman who I respect so much. I respect all kinds of women who do all different things, but it's just that our energies and our vibe is really just on the same path. And when I say energy, I don't just mean like the spiritual energy. I mean like we have a lot of energy to give, and our energy can be infectious to other people, and her energy was infectious to me. So one day we're talking and I was like, you know, Debbie, I don't know what to do. Like I really thought I was gonna have kids right away. That's not on the table right now. You know, we're just trying to like, not work on the relationship, but just let him have his business, get to a better, I don't want to say better place because we weren't in a bad place, but get to a place where I felt confident about having children together. Point being is she was like, listen, you know, and I was like, what should I do? At the time I already had KG's Kitchen and I was like doing all my healthy recipes and I was super into health and wellness, and I was like, I want to go into people's homes and I want to do like pantry overhauls. I can consult people, I can go to high schools. I really, really have always, and I still want to, you know, go to high schools, talk to girls about confidence. I was bigger growing up. Talk about body image. It's very hard living in this world of social media, the way that everything is right now. There's so much pressure. That was something that I really wanted to do. And she just looked at me and she goes, Catherine, you are your business. So I was like, what the fuck is she talking about? Like, what do you mean? And she's like, you know, she goes, she's a very wealthy woman. She's very successful. She goes, you know, I have everything I could ever want. She goes, but I look at you and I'm like, what watch are you wearing? What earrings are those? What leggings is that? What are you using on your skin? She's like, I have a lot of questions. Like, I just want to sit here and ask you all these questions. You are the business. You're sitting on your own business because you are the business. So I was like, I don't even understand what that means. Insta story started. Instagram story began. It was a new thing on Instagram. It was a new feature. Before that, we were all using Snapchat and doing our stories on there. There was, and I talk again about this in my first video ever, Shut the Kale Up. She is a girl who's on Instagram, and she would just like kind of chronicle her life a little bit, not in the capacity that I do it, but she would just like show like different foods and different things. And I was like, and again, I talked about this in the video, like I would be watching Housewives or watching some show and it would become background noise, and I was just so engaged to these stories. And all these bloggers who, I'm not someone who follows a lot of bloggers, I'm just not someone who reads blogs, but you know, I obviously had the usual people on my Instagram, Chiara Ferragani, I think that's how you say her name, Song of Style, people like that, people who, when Instagram first started, were doing the blogger thing right away, and you kind of started to see their personality. I unfollowed so many of those girls because I didn't love their personality. I loved their style, I loved their images, I liked, you know, their pictures, but when they started sharing part of who they were, I was kind of like, no, this girl's not for me. And then other people became for me. I kind of said to myself, this is what I should be doing. It's gonna take a lot of guts because, you know, it's really awkward to film yourself. It's really awkward to talk to yourself as I'm doing now. I wake up at like 6:30, I'd be up in the morning, and I was like, I have so many tips and tricks. I have cured my cystic acne. I have gotten rid of my eczema, cured my gut. I had just come out of like a horrible whole experience with my gut. I had lost a lot of weight, I had hair, like everything were not these major, big things. I mean, they were actually, but I'm saying nothing was like a huge thing, like where I was like, I have this, and I could be like, bam, these people can all relate to me. It was more like all these little things that people in general, and women especially in general, deal with. And I was like, I'm gonna share my tips and tricks. I'm gonna share how I've overcome them. Maybe it will help other people. Started slowly. I remember, I think like one of my first things I did was just like, I think it was like a morning after drinking, and I was like, hey, this is activated charcoal, and like, this is why I take it. And instantly there was a response. And there was two types of responses. One of the responses was super positive, and there was just random people coming out of the woodwork being like, oh my God, that helped me so much. Oh my God, this and that. I love this, I love that. And then there was other people who were just so uncomfortable watching me, especially people I know, especially guys. And you know what? It wasn't, at the time, Instagram story was a newer thing. Obviously, if you're a normal person on Instagram, like, I mean, we're all normal people, but if you're just a person on Instagram who's not doing it as a business, you know, you obviously have people on Instagram who you're friends with or who you're not like the most close to, but you're friendly with, or acquaintances. So all of a sudden, all these people who didn't necessarily know everything I was doing in my life were seeing everything I was doing in my life, and it probably made them really uncomfortable. And I could tell you that when I've seen people now do it, sometimes it makes me uncomfortable, but as you watch, you start to be like, oh no, that's so funny, and you start to learn their personality and their little personality traits and their isms, and it becomes super cute and it works. It bothers people that, you know, you're getting praised in a sense for doing nothing. And if we go back a little bit before, you know, Insta story, before influencers were really a thing, let's talk about Kim Kardashian, the original influencer, or even Paris Hilton. You know, for how many years did people say, what the hell do the Kardashians do? They're famous for nothing. They're famous for nothing. Let me tell you something. Now that I do what I do, they are not famous for nothing. It's not by chance that they are where they are. It's hard work. It's consistency. It's putting your life out there. Yeah, they got a show. Yeah, they got lucky in terms of the timing of where the world was going in terms of social media. But at the end of the day, let's not get anything twisted. They're not here or where they are or making the money they're making because of nothing. They're making it because they're highly influential people. And maybe not in the sense of like life-changing things, but makeup and beauty and fashion and all the things that so many girls live for, that you can call superficial, you can call materialistic, you can call it whatever you want, but it's shit that people want to watch, and it's shit that people want to know. You see this gorgeous girl, her skin looks amazing, her hair looks amazing, her outfits are always on point. How does she do it all? What is she doing? I want her tips. That's the Kardashians. That's what an influencer is. An influencer is themselves, and people are either drawn to them or they're not. And now that's what I kind of want to get into. Current day, I feel like every week there's a new influencer, there's a new person starting a new blog, a new YouTube channel, a new Instagram, a new whatever. And for the most part, people are trying to find sort of a niche. There's a micro influencer, there's a macro influencer, there's a something for everybody, which is amazing. But like any other job, it is not for everybody. I've lost one of my best friends over this. I legit show my whole life. I kind of produce my own reality show on my Instagram channel every day. If you guys are watching this, I mean, I'm filming this for YouTube. So if you're on YouTube and you don't follow my Instagram account, go ahead and follow it, because you'll see pretty much my whole life all the time. For some people, it's too much. Some people love my tips and tricks, but they don't want to see my whole life. So they don't follow me necessarily, but they just check in for tips and tricks. That's their choice. They can do whatever they want. Being an influencer, not for everybody. You know, especially as a young girl who doesn't have their head sort of on 100% straight, or is not the most confident, it can take a real toll on you. You are opening yourself up to the opinions of others, and you're asking for it. Kind of go into things with blinders. Like, don't let the peripherals bother you. Just keep focused on what your task at hand is, and don't let it get in your way. And I have had the haters. I have a full hate forum. You guys can check it out if you want to. On the internet, I have people who have started hate accounts for me. I have people who, no shame, message me from their own accounts just talking shit to me and telling me how stupid I am. I know who I am. I know that what I have shared has created positive changes in so many people's lives, so I don't give a shit about what other people say for me. I've always been pretty confident. I've always known who I am, what I have to offer, and nobody is gonna take that away from me no matter what. I really respect myself, and I think that's really important, and that is something that I wanna, that's something I really want to convey. I'm not saying that to try to sound full of myself or conceited. I'm saying it because I want to convey to you the importance of your loving yourself and respecting yourself, and how important that is, not only if you're an influencer, but just as a person. You have to be your #1 fan. You have to love yourself the most, because if you don't, why would anybody else? If you're someone who is not at that level where you're not the most confident or the most sure of yourself, it can really take a toll on you, and it can be dangerous, because social media is a scary effing place, I just have to say. So when I started doing Instagram, I think I had about 4,200 or 4,500 followers. So people were already somewhat engaged into what I was doing, because I wasn't an influencer. I was just a normal person randomly posting pictures or whatever. Now we're 14 months later, and I'm gonna put my stats up. I get over 4 million impressions a week. I have a reach. A reach is basically unique accounts that are coming onto your page. I have over 100,000 unique accounts on my page every week, yet a lot of people don't want to follow me. It could be because I put out so much content all the time. It could be because I'm really in your face. It could be because people are just haters, and really that's what I think it is. I have the engagement, as you can see on the chart that I had just posted, I have 100% engagement rate. So, which means that people buy what I say, people trust me, and people listen to me, and that's because I'm honest. I don't sell out for nobody. I don't care, again, this is just right in front of me, but if this candle company was like, here's $10,000, we want you to say how amazing our candles are and how blah, blah, blah. If I don't like the candle, I'm not gonna share it. My goal in this is not to push products for other people. My goal in this is to one day brand myself as a person, as a brand, with all the things that I like, with all the knowledge that I've obtained with skincare, with supplements, with foods, and create my own stuff. And that's gonna be years in the making. But I would not benefit in any shape or form of lying about using something, or getting paid to do one post and be like, this candle's amazing, and then you never hear about it again, and then I take $1,000 from a person. I don't work like that. So there are two types of influencers, in my opinion. There are content creators and there are converters. I am a converter. Most other influencers are content creators. Content creators are people who work with photographers, people like bloggers, where in a day they'll do 10 outfits in a day with a photographer, take tons of content, post it for the next month, 2 months. They schedule their posts. They get paid $200 to put this candle in, whatever it is. So that's what most influencers do, and they are content creators. They create content for companies, and this is a very important thing that bloggers do, because then these companies can now use those images, that content on their social media, and it works both ways. The companies will post the influencer gets exposure, they get more followers, and vice versa. So this works back and forth. So I'm not so much that kind of influencer. I'm not so much a content creator. Reason being is that it's just not me. I'm really someone who straight up, I film and I don't rewatch myself. I'm very in the moment. A converter is someone who basically converts sales through organic posts. So When I first started, for the first 6 months, I didn't get paid to do anything. I would just share what I already did, and I gave real tips, not through paid posts. And I guess because of that, people learned that they could trust me and they could really listen to my advice. And they applied different things that I suggested to them, you know, in their life at some point, and it worked. And then they took the next tip. Because of that, I convert to sales. Because I convert to sales, I don't do paid posts, I do contracts. What I do is I work with companies that I actually already use. Example, I work with a company called Linen Chest. That's a big Canadian home goods store here in Canada, and by the way, soon they'll be shipping to the US. My entire house is from Linen Chest. All my dishes, all my towels, all my sheets, all my stuff is from Linen Chest. These picture frames are from Linen Chest. At one point, Linen Chest reached out to me because I was always using my lemon squeezer every day, and it was from there. And they said, like, let's do a giveaway. And so I started creating a relationship. I'm just using Linen Chest as an example. I obviously work with other people as well. You know, and then they created all my favorites on a page. So what we do is they pay me a monthly retainer, and I do mentions every week. So I'll mention, like, let's say this scrunchie is from Linen Chest. I'm like, oh my God. I'll be like about to use the scrunchie in my hair, and I'm like, love this scrunchie. It's from Linen Chest. Swipe up if you want to buy it, type of thing. So that's the way I work. So nothing I'm ever doing is a ad. In the sense, I mean, everything, yes, like I do get paid in contract by companies, but it's not in the capacity of, they don't say to me, you need to push this scrunchie today, this week. Like, no one ever tells me what to do. I just post what I want to post, and I mention their companies because that's where I got it, and it's all super natural and organic, and because of that, it converts to sales. For a lot of people, that's not how it works. For a lot of people, someone sends them something and they say, hey, we'll give you like $500 for this post. And the person's like, perfect, I want $500. And then they take a picture and they say, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. And they've never even tried it. That's like 95% of people on the internet. And you gotta be aware of that. And that's why so many people don't trust social media influencers. And that's why it's even harder for me to gain a following, get people to trust me or to listen to me, because everyone just assumes that everything is paid, and you can't trust anyone because it's basically like watching a commercial all day. I want to assure all of you guys who are watching this, maybe who don't know me, that's not what I do. That's not my MO. I'm fortunate enough that I don't need to do this to pay my rent. I'm lucky enough to sort of be able to, whether I did this or didn't do this, I would live a wonderful life. So for me, it's really about the integrity of what I'm putting out. Is it actually gonna help other people? And I would never suggest something to anybody that I wouldn't use on myself, that I haven't tried on myself, because all that would do is literally take my name and just drag it through the mud. At the end of the day, this is my name. This is all I have as a reputation. Regardless of it's people who know me personally or not, I just would never feel comfortable as a human being trying to push something I would never use or that I don't think is amazing for you. Everything I do is actually to benefit people. So for the most part, every segment I do in the morning on my KGMTL Instagram account, never, ever, ever sponsored. It's always just what I want to talk about that day, what I think my followers want to hear about, what I've been asked questions on. So for the most part, my content, what I put out, is not generally sponsored. It's really more about like helping people find the best place to get the things that I use. That's really, for me, what it's all about. And like I said, for most people, and not putting down any other influencer, because like I just said earlier, content creators are super important as well. That's just not what I'm here for. And when you go into the social media world and into the influencer world and bloggers and vloggers and YouTube, there's such a mix of people, just like there is in any other industry. Like if you go into the world of chefs, just giving an example, some chefs are gonna be so passionate about putting out the best ingredients, the most local, organic, amazing ingredients. And some chefs are gonna be like, I don't give a fuck. I just want it to taste good. Let me throw in as much butter, as much sugar, as much this, as much that. You know, there's a different category for every business that everybody's in. For me, I can only speak for myself. I am all about authenticity. I'm all about spreading self-confidence. I am all about supporting other people, you know, women on the internet, and just having each other's backs. And I'm all about putting out good, honest advice that can actually help other people. Most importantly, health advice, where it's like, I think that so many people don't even realize how dangerous a lot of the foods that we eat, the things that we consume day to day are for us. And if I can just put that information out there, help other people, make them look at things a little bit differently. And if you watch me, you know that like this is really my, is it MO? Is that like the expression? Is this really my mission on social media, is to open up people's brains to bad ingredients in skincare products, in foods, what we're putting into our bodies, how we can live our best, healthiest, glowiest, amazing life. So that's what I'm all about, and that's what I'm all about spreading. If you watch me, you know this, and I'm really not about editing it. I don't, like I said, I don't rewatch myself. With YouTube, now I have a video editor, but in the past, like this is my 3rd video with a video editor. Every video before this, I've had to edit, and it's cringy. It's hard for me to watch myself. You know when you hear your own voice, like even on like an answering machine or something, and you're like, imagine what it's like watching yourself all the time, like talking to yourself. It's super, super uncomfortable. So with my Instagram stories, I very, very, very rarely watch myself. I mean, I know sort of what I'm putting out, but like I stumble on words. I don't correct myself. I don't give a fuck. Excuse the language. I don't care, because at the end of the day, that's what it is to be human. And I feel like because I've decided to go that route and be super authentic and genuine, people feel like they're talking to a friend. People feel that they really know me, and they feel that, you know what, I could take her advice, and I want people to take my advice, and I want people to copy me and do what I do, which is why I put it out on the internet, because 90% of the time, it's all for a good purpose. The other 10% is frivolous and generally really superficial, or be like, oh my God, how cute are my shorts? They fit so well. By the way, they do. These are A Goldie. Best shorts ever. But like, that's just me being like a friend. Like, hey, these are the best shorts. They don't cut you. They don't give you, they don't like cut into your thighs and make you have that like, you know what I mean? That's the worst, by the way, when shorts are like too tight on the thigh. So that's just like getting a good tip from a good friend. And that's really what my social media is all about. Where I am having trouble, like I'm just gonna be super honest with my social media, is transitioning from personal to business. So when I first started, and even now, it was all personal. It's just like, here's my life, blah, blah, blah. Here are my tips, this and that. Now I have contracts. Now I work with people. And that's completely fine. But I'm finding it very difficult. Like, I'll see people I know, and they have like, I don't know, a bracelet company. And they're like, oh my God, my bracelet, can you post me, blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of like, no. Like, obviously here or there, if I love something, I don't need to get paid to post it. But like, it's like, you also have to be careful with how authentic you're coming across. If I'm constantly plugging something, you guys as the viewers are gonna be like, hey, this is exhausting. I feel like I'm just being like watching a commercial all the time. That's not what it is. So I'm finding it really hard to make the line between business and personal, and trying to make people understand that what I do is a business. This is not just like fun and games. A lot of pressure that comes with it. There are times where I just like don't wanna wake up in the morning and film, but I've set up this sort of precedent that that's what I'm gonna do every day. And sometimes I don't want to, and sometimes I don't wanna share every little thing that's going on in my life, or some weeks I feel like shit and I don't feel the best in my body, and I don't wanna show my body on social media. Not that I have to show my whole body, but like right now it's a new job, so some people don't respect it, but they will, because at the end of the day, what does pretty much everyone do all day? Scroll. Scroll, scroll, scroll. So companies are not putting their money into newspapers or magazines or TV as much anymore. They're putting it right onto the smartphone, and they're hiring people like me who build an audience every day to promote their products. So if you align with the company, and if your values align with the company, they'll try to hire you. And if the influencer wants to work with that company, they create a deal together and they do it. And that's how influencer marketing works. This is the future. Whoever knows young kids, how much TV do young kids that you know watch? Probably very little. They are always on YouTube. Like, buckle in, or you can't really get out, because it's gonna fucking follow you no matter where you go. So if you guys have any questions, or if there's anything I discuss in this video that you really want me to zone in on and do a video just on that like specific topic in this realm, please leave a comment, and I will definitely film a video on it, because I love talking about this. It's just such a large topic. Quickly want to go into something. Social media is a fucked up world. Excuse the language all the time, but again, I'm real. Social media is a really crazy world, especially when you're a young girl. I did a panel where I sat on a panel with a bunch of amazing women a few weeks ago, and I talked to 150 young girls. A lot of stuff is a lot of filters. So you go on Snapchat and you have these amazing filters, or even Instagram, and they make you look so pretty, and they make your eyes look big, and everything looks perfect. And then you turn the filter off, and you kind of are like, oh my God, that's what I look like. Oh my God. it's just a real, what's the word? It's kind of symbolic of what social media is. You see yourself with these filters on, and then you take the filter off and you judge yourself for what you are. You really got to keep your head on straight, especially young girls. So moms who are watching this, young girls who are watching this, show it to your kids if you want, or I'm going to film one about self-confidence and social media. But it is so important to keep your head on straight and understand that you're seeing half the story. What I put out, you think I put on Instagram my worst picture where I have like a little bit of a roll or where my arm looks big? No, I get my best. I take, let's say 10 or 15 pictures. I take the best one, I filter it to perfection, and then I post it. Instagram is half the story. You see what we want to show you. If I'm having a terrible day and I'm fighting with my husband and I'm feeling like really insecure in my body or something, you can bet that that's not the day where I'm going to be taking a picture in the mirror and saying, I feel really insecure today. I should actually do that, but that's not what social media is. Everyone filters things and we all make it look as great as possible because it makes us feel better, and it puts out this image into the world that we're perfect, but we're not. It's half the story. Just understand that we all feel the same pressure. We're all in this together, and it's all, excuse the language again, but it's all bullshit for the most part. It's an image that we're all trying to uphold. So if you liked videos like this where I sort of just speak about my experiences rather than, you know, talk about a supplement or a cure or a tip, please let me know as well. I always love your input. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, well, you don't need to be a hater and give me a thumbs down, but do whatever you want, I guess. I love you guys. Thank you for watching, and I will hopefully see you next week.